Hello class and welcome to week number 3 of PSYU 322. I'm going to go in the content section and go to week 3 to review what is due this week. Alright, when we get into week 3, you can see the week 3 overview. It provides a little bit of an introduction, the spotlight summary. Listen to that to get your gears going about what we're going to talk about this week. The topics, the different learning activities. I'm going to open up the week at a glance. You're going to see on this document, once it loads, there's going to be a quote up the top, course learning objectives that we're working on this week, and then a checklist. Those items in black font are not graded. It's your readings, your additional readings. Please make sure that you review the school personality, the ego section, and the research school as well. And then it notes things to keep working on. What is due this week is the discussion board, and we'll review that in a moment. Here's another graphic that is very similar as well, the ungraded work, things to work on, and what is due. And then at the bottom, there's just basically a number list of everything you have to do this week. With learning resources, you're having several different PowerPoint slides that you can review that are associated with the chapters that you are reading this week. And then to your discussion board. I'm going to click on this link to go to the discussion board, but remember you also can click on discussions and you'll see all the discussions listed for you. But for this week, for your initial posting, you are to make sure, as I noted, to review the ego personality school and the research within the school personality. But in your initial posting, you're going to be reviewing Erikson's theory of personality and responding to the following. In which ways is Erikson's theory different from or similar to Freud's theory? Which theory do you think has more validity and why? And make sure to explain your reasoning. Secondly, in your own words, describe the concept of identity consolidation and how do you think this process takes place in modern society. Make sure you describe at least 2 events or factors you think can make it easier or harder to achieve identity consolidation. And then finally, in your initial posting, how does Erikson's image of human nature differ from Jung's? Which theory do you think has more validity and why? And make sure you explain that. This is due Thursday by midnight and should be at least 350 words in length. Should not be a problem with these different questions. Okay, for your peer response postings, you have 2 of these due Sunday by midnight, and they need to be at least 250 words in length. If you look through, we're going to be talking about Alport's theory of personality. For each peer response, you're going to find one article on Alport and or his theories. As a result, you're going to have 2 different articles for your 2 different peer response postings. After you find the article, this is what you need to answer. Discuss your reaction to your peers' insights that were shared within their posting and any connections that were shared or new perspectives that you gained from their posting. Find one article as noted per peer response postings, 2 different ones. Make sure you post the URL of the article that you found, and it notes that you should not post an article that's already been posted by another student. 1 article per peer response, and they must be different. Once you find these articles for your peer response posting, you're going to provide a summary of the article. Make sure to include an evaluation of the conclusions of the author and whether or not you disagree or agree with the concepts presented and why, and then work to incorporate any further research you think could be done on this topic or other thoughts you had while reading. You can see the rubric down here below as well. If we go back into the shell, you can see the week 3 activities. There's different videos and resources to review that complement the readings. And finally, in additional resources, there's an extra optional self-assessment that you can review as well. So that is it. I just want to remind you to continue to work on or start working on the theory presentation. It is due at the end of week 4, so next week, make sure this does not come up to surprise you. That is it, and I look forward to seeing what you do this week. Thank you.